going to take us to good old Baltimore, Maryland, where Jack's two favorite teams will be playing the Ravens and the Browns.
It's a lose-lose.
It will be a good weekend for him because one of them's losing.
True. Are those your two least favorite teams?
No, it's the Ravens and the Bengals.
Bengals more?
The Browns are irrelevant.
So Ravens-Bengals, that's next Thursday.
That's
just like, I mean, that's
hell.
That's hell. Because one wins, unfortunately.
That'll be a great Thursday.
But one does
game.
lose, so.
All right, Zach, and we're going to get to in a second here what our records are on the season, and let me just say Zach is not in first place right now. So with that being said, who are you predicting to win this game?
After watching Deshaun Watson last week, and he kind of looked like good old Deshaun Watson again.
Good old Deshaun Watson.
I'll be taking the Browns this week.
In Baltimore.
I think Lamar has a little shock value added to him.
The Ravens fans are gonna be really pissed to hear that.
Watson probably went to a little parlor before the game last week.
My God. But you have to remember just a couple weeks ago, Deshaun Watson was out. DTR played in that game. The Ravens went into Cleveland, a place where the Browns really pushed around multiple teams this season. Even with their backup, they beat San Francisco. And they won 28-3. They did things to this Cleveland Browns defense that no one in the league has done this season. I completely disagree with you, Zach. I'm sorry. I know Deshaun Watson had one of his better games of the season last week against the Cardinals. This Ravens team is different. The defense, first in yards per game allowed, third in points. The offense is clicking. Lamar looks like an MVP. I really, despite Myles Garrett saying he's just approaching the peak of his powers, which he actually might be right on, amazingly enough, I love Baltimore in this game, especially at home.
Well, you don't realize we're halfway through the season. This is when Baltimore...
Oh, this is when they...
God, can they just both lose? I mean,
they can tie.
Baltimore's the pick.
Baltimore's going to win this game at home. Cleveland, by most metrics, is the best defense in football all around. And I've said it time and time again, Baltimore kills you, specifically on the ground. So Cleveland, to me, matches up okay with them because they're very strong up front. But Baltimore, just on both sides of the ball, on offense, their defense is strong on both sides. I think they're going to force turnover. I don't think Watson plays great. I think Baltimore gets to him, plays with a short field. And when all is said and done, they're playing at home. They're rolling. They win by double digits in the end.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Browns have the best defense in the league, and it's not even close, but the Ravens are at number 2. Here's the thing, is I think people are overreacting to last week. We saw Deshaun Watson play an okay game against Clayton Tune and the Cincinnati Cardinals. Excuse me, the Arizona Cardinals at home. I was thinking back to that Browns-Bengals game where they absolutely obliterated Joe Burrow. My apologies. But look, beating Clayton Tune and the Cardinals is just not all that impressive. Throwing for 220 yards against one of the worst defenses in the NFL is not that impressive. I think that Deshaun Watson is going to get humbled. There's no Nick Chubb in the backfield to help him out. The Browns do not have an effective run game. And players like Roquan Smith, who are good in the run game, but even better in coverage, are the kinds of guys that can make you pay for that. Kyle Hamilton is the kind of guy who can make you pay for that. So I think we are going to see, just like the Seahawks went into Baltimore and ran into a buzzsaw, that exact same buzzsaw is going to tear the Browns in half.
It is an AFC North game, and these games are always close. It feels like they're always hard-hitting. And we've seen the two leaders on the defense, saying how they know how good the other side is, and they want to prove who's the best defense in football. I said before the Ravens were first in yards per game and third in points. That was actually the Browns. It's the Ravens who lead the NFL in least points per game allowed. They also have the most sacks. So I actually don't think it's easily the Browns defense being the best in football, Ziggy. Baltimore is right there too. And did you guys see what Roquan Smith said about the Bears trade?
Yeah, he said.
How good was that?
Yes, that was the best thing I've ever seen.
Man, it makes me so happy just knowing my career is not going down the drain in the sense of playing somewhere where I'm not truly competing for a title.
That's amazing.
I mean, brutal for the Bears. But
this will be a game to me where it's close, it's sloppy, it's hard hitting for a while, and then in the second half, Baltimore wins 24-13.
Like a big turnover, something like that?
Yeah, they'll get to Watson, they'll strip sack him, they'll pick him off, something like that. But they end up winning by about 10 points.
Someone might die this game.
These AFC North games are actually, I've said before, they're kind of scary how hard hitting they are. No matter who it is, it's a different brand of football.
The AFC North and the NFC East are really the only divisions where I feel like these kinds of rivals exist, where like you have the teams are consistently pretty good and there's that kind of animosity, right? There's the same animosity in the NFC North, but like usually only one or two of the teams in the division's any good. You know, in a place like the NFC West, the teams are usually pretty good, but like no one really cares. It's nice to have a division where some of the people care about playing football.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think Cleveland struggles mightily on offense this game. Like Baltimore,
everyone's going to struggle on offense. The Ravens' offense is going to put forth one of their worst games this season.
I think
you think even though they went into Cleveland and pushed them around,
it's just they're not going to do it twice. That's all I'm going to say.
I think Baltimore hits their stride eventually. Cleveland will have a hard time doing that.